Turtle power rides again. This is BBC Two and this is 1988. Strong language included.
Dudes, and welcome to I Love 1988 and a four-cheese feast of the most bodacious movies, music, TV, and toys of 1988. It's awesome, and there's a story about four pretty cool green guys, too. Cowabunga!
Are you ready, boys? A big cheer!
Oh, my nighttime job.
Turtle power!
Pizza, pizza, pizza!
Enough with the comedy.
I've got a great big fridge and a microwave.
Excellent!
It's a solo version of a high five.
She was just out the blocks, upright, gone. When will I be famous? When will I see my picture in the papers?
When will I be famous?
The logo, there was a club, and there was a real fan mentality immediately as soon as they burst on the scene.
It was mad. It was probably the best time of my life.
In '88, Bros were the big band that everyone sort of remembers.
I wasn't in love with Bros because I was in love and was going to marry Simon Le Bon. Bros was a small fancy, but not full on, you know, I never licked their posters, for example.
They were the twins and one of them was handsome and the other one was a slightly ugly version of the twin. So they got the really ugly bloke in to stand at the back to make him feel better.
Matt and Luke, which were twins, and their friend Craig.
These three boys who were hunkingly, fantastically good-looking, that you just couldn't not fancy them, really. If you didn't, then you lied that you didn't fancy Matt, Luke or Craig. Or Matt and Luke, anyway.
He's the nutty one of the band. You don't look it now, but he is. He's really crazy. He's the crazy one of the band. I'm a little bit more mellow.
You could tell Luke, his jawline was slightly different. He was a bit thinner and he had a scar on his chin.
Matt looked like he'd smother you in kisses, give you chocolates and flowers and cuddle you and hug you. And Luke just looked like he'd shag you up against the wall and then leave you there and say goodbye.
They wore mascara and like lip gloss, which I never quite understood. It's like, you know, there's a boy band, but it's supposed to be a bit more macho, and like black mascara and lip gloss is not what I call, you know, man stuff.
I think the cool girls like Bros, and the girls that didn't really fit in liked Brother Beyond.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big hand for Brother Beyond! Woo!
Brother Beyond and Bros, they're kind of in the same bubblegum poppy area, and I think if you were a young kid at the time, it was almost you had to make a choice between being a Brossette or a Yondie.
This one's for you. We heard of Brother Beyond through the school, actually. Sign Manning in Ladbroke Grove, which was my secondary school, were asked to appear in their video, and it was there that we fell in love. As soon as the band come out, you know, it was like, oh God, it was that gorgeous thing, you know, in the white pants. So went straight down to the front row, and that's where I stayed for the whole duration of the video.
Why can't you see I'm only
You desire to be famous when you're a young boy. If you join a band, you know, that's what you want to do. You want to feel what it feels like to be famous.
Well, we've got some fabulous live acts in the studio tonight, I'll tell you. We'll go back to number 24. It's a clamber of 10 places. Here they are, Brother Beyond with The Harder I Try.
The Harder I Try happened kind of very quickly. It was out 1 week, and then we were sort of asked to do Top of the Pops, which is, you know, it's a boyhood dream really to do that.
Whenever I need you, you give me such a runaround. The more that I see you, the more you just put me down.
I remember walking down Oxford Street one day, and I really felt the sort of everyone's eyes upon me, and I really felt for the first time, I thought, God, this is what it's like to be famous.
Nathan was like this little sexy flirt. I was 16 at the time, and he'd be like, "Oh, Liz, show us your tits." And it'd be like, "Ooh." He's just cheeky little sod. That's why we liked him, because they were just, that's a normal thing that a bloke would say to a girl. Well, not necessarily a 16-year-old, but there you go.
Nathan's dancing it was he'd do this, or he'd go like that, a lot like he was stamping out a fire, because he was one of those boys who couldn't dance properly yet gave it a really good shot. When you compared Nathan to Matt, there was just no comparison. It's like stamping out a fire, just looking really cool.
Brother Beyond was based on Motown, that was our thing. Bros were based on the hit The Youth, basically.
Brother Beyond got to number 2 with The Harder I Tried. They tried a little too hard for those devoted Bros babes.
They had a whole stack of groupies, where they're called the Brosettes.
I haven't heard that word for years.
The Brossette had the jacket, the trousers from American Classics, the DMs with the Grolsch tops. Some even went as far as had their hair done, which looked a bit stupid, but they followed them around everywhere. They camped outside the house, they knew their itinerary probably before they did.
They know the studios that I go to, they know my relatives, they know where my brother lives, they know where I live. After a while, they know where all that is, so I don't encourage it. It just happened.
I never hung outside their house on Commercial Road, but the signpost for Commercial Road, up until about 4 years ago, still had "We love you, Matt, we love you, Luke" written all over it.
We've had enough of the fans along here. They throw rubbish, litter, they go toilet in the gardens.
They just sit there for hours. I mean, what on earth do they talk about?
You're up there and they're in there. What's the point of going home?
They ask for autographs.
Come out. Let's come out.
My mate Yolanda used to live next door to them, which was handy, and we used to go to her house, and sometimes she used to invite us in, and we used to listen at the wall with glasses and hear them playing their computer games.
The Bros fans were horrendous, especially that Peckham posse.
The evil Peckham posse. They were the Brosettes that made all other Brosettes look like sweet little fluffy kittens.
They were like the Ronnie and Reggie Craig from South London.
If you touched Matt, Luke or Craig, they would beat you up.
They would sharpen coins, and when we do the Junior Best Disco at Town, things like that, they'd just throw them at the stage. I mean, they were like hardcore.
It was announced that Bros were going to do a signing of their first album, The Big Push, at HMV on Oxford Street. Come on down, you'll get you an album signed. So I went down with a friend and lined up, managed to get inside the store, and there were just millions of girls inside the store. The noise was deafening. I mean, it really was ear bleed time. Girls would pretend to faint and go down to the front and get carried around the back. To start off with, they would go and have a look at them and go, "Oh, are you all right? I hope you're all right." But then once girls got wise to it and realised that they could meet Bros like that, there was hundreds of them back there going, "Oh, they're going to come around now." I fainted.
I love you. I love you. I love you all.
So first of all, get your reaction to what's happening here.
I think we've had a lot of reactions, haven't we, to get used to it. But that was a shock.
Yeah,
I was a bit shaken by that. That was wicked. Not for a sign anyway. Not for a signing, no. I don't understand. It was a performance. It's just a signing, though. It's like mad.
Screaming in silence, fast on her feet, nervously feeling.
Bros had 6 totally bodacious top 5 hits, and then they were history. Matt and Luke were just left with nothing but fame.
Saw Luke's car when I was a traffic warden, and I didn't realise it was Luke at first. It was just another car. And then Luke come out of the hairdressers, and I didn't give him a ticket, and just saw in amazement that all the other fans were still following, which I didn't think, after 4 or 5 years that they'd still be doing, but they was.
It's a lot of baggage to carry around with you, and I think Matt and Luke have had to carry that for the last 10 years, and very often when you think of Ross, you think of owing lots of money and a lot of silliness, where I think that with Brother Beyond, people sort of quite affectionately remember, "Oh, that nice record, The Harder I Cheer, oh yeah, I like that." And I think that's the way I kind of like it to be, somewhere in history, but not too indelibly printed.
Back in 1988, some guys just had way too much dough.
Sir! How come you don't earn much money being a teacher? Wanker!
The comedy figure from the 1980s would have to be Harry Enfield's Loads of Money.
Here's my wad. Look at my wad!
Wait, loads of money at
Loads of money. That was massive.
I put the whole lot on horse. Horse comes in last, I put bleeding more on. Horse comes in last again, I put bleeding more on. Horse is dead, I put bleeding more on.
Harry wanted to do a kind of lad character.
I'm a plasterer, see? Bush, shum, dollop, lovely job, loads of money! Oh, mate, how much do you earn a year? Is that all? I earn more than that in a bleeding day, mate! Loads of money!
We just thought this is a really good contemporary character to do. And we saw a lot of them around, and, they were interested in money.
We've got loads of acts, we've got loads of singers, mainly tenors, on top of the wads! Oh, you! Shut your mouth and look at my wad!
What he was satirising, loved it. It was recognition, and loads of money lads all waving their wad of money when he said loads of money, and he was a hero. So what began as a criticism, a satire, actually sort of reinforced it.
L-O-D-S.
Loads of Money became a monster, a complete monster. A lot of people didn't see the irony in it.
And he very cleverly killed it off, which is sort of, it burnt briefly and then, did very well when they moved on.
Shut your mouth and look at my God! This is my God! Loads of money! Loads of money!
Oi, you! Shut it!
Not allowed to muck about up here. Get told off. Shut up!
In 1988, 4 young turtles had their brush with some mutagenic ooze.
Oh, that's totally gross, dude.
But instead of making them freaks, well, let's not spoil the story. Just check this out.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Heroes in a half shell. Turtle power.
The animated show was called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja what?
What's going on?
We'll just see about that. Okay, punks, get up!
They had to call it Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, didn't they, over here?
Come and get me, hot shots!
I suppose they assumed that 4-year-olds were going to start sharpening those metal stars and try slinging them at their granny.
Come on, guys, you can do better than that.
Who thought that up? That is such a great concept.
Here, try these on for size.
I'll have a turtle, and he'll be a ninja. Great!
Fact, we turtles began life as like characters in a student horror fanzine. Totally radical truth, dude.
It kind of goes back to when I was a kid. I used to play in the lake up in Maine, and we had these big snapping turtles, and we'd always torture them with sticks and snap the stick off. And I just liked the idea of having one of the world's slowest creatures be looked at one of the fastest, like a ninja, like a Bruce Lee character.
We'll stop and look at each other sometime and go, oh my, what did we do? What did we create? The beast.
Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, and... Leonardo.
They were called Donatella, Panatella, Jackson Pollock and Rolf Harris.
The concept was similar to what you might have in any group of kids that would hang out in a neighborhood. You'd have, a quiet one,
Leonardo,
a funny one,
Donatello,
one that was kind of nuts,
Michelangelo,
and one that was kind of stronger.
Shredder, you tin-faced geek, get back here and taste cold turtle steel.
Cowabunga, dudes!
Oh, great! I've just been de-daisied.
I played the part of Raphael, this sort of smart alecky one of the bunch, and I suppose that that is similar to my real personality.
You're turtles, remember?
So that's why I'm green. And I always thought it was something I ate.
I played the part of Leonardo in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the blue mask. It's how you tell them apart.
Quit clowning, you guys. This is serious.
My main catchphrase would be,
we've got to think of something fast.
Fellas, remember what Splinter said. Get at the root of the problem. Gotcha.
They were a result of some kind of chemical spill, weren't they?
Yeah, it was radioactivity. That's it.
Much like Richard and Judy, actually.
This radioactive canister was jarred loose from a truck and smashed this little aquarium this boy was holding with 4 turtles in it. And the smash bowl, the 4 turtles, and the radioactive ooze fell into the sewer, where they were discovered by a rat who was from Japan.
Even the longest journey starts with a single step.
That rat looks rotten. It does look like it's been down the sewer all its life.
It is wise to always start at the root of the problem.
They were a bit like a gang of rent boys, really. There was a sort of seedy old man in a dressing gown who lived in a basement and told them what to do, and you think, he'd be closed down nowadays.
All right, dudes, it's scarping time!
They lived in the sewer, and they ate pizzas.
Pizza? Yeah!
Pizza, pizza, pizza.
For sure.
You can just imagine them all just sitting there, knee-deep in shit in the sewer. Mmm, tasty.
It's some dynamite pizza. What's on it, Michelangelo?
I know lads who live on pizza, and believe me, they're no kind of kung fu masters.
Smooth, Michelangelo. You make a great breakdancer.
I would advise more practice.
The merchandising boom surrounding the programme has brought official complaints to the body in charge of broadcasting. The critics of the programme want it banned completely. They say it isn't a drama, it's just one long advert to make children buy turtle products.
When Pete and I first saw the toys in a local toy store, we were walking down the action figure aisle.
And it was just such a big thrill for us to see these things on the shelf, in their little shiny blister pack packages.
Coming up the aisle, literally there was this mom and a little kid, and the kid's pitching this fit, and the mother's like, no, I'm not buying you one of those stupid Ninja Turtles. And Pete and I were just like, what have we done?
The cult's taken America by storm, with a full-length film already making millions the other side of the Atlantic. Over here, a turtle record is already overpowering the music charts.
Our movie was like the biggest film. Our song was so #1, and kids everywhere went off to the pet shop.
If you like giant mutant turtles named after Italian painters, you'll love these tiny, half-formed amphibians, which was the weirdest merchandising tie-in of all time.
We know for a fact that the turtles carry the salmonella bacteria, which people can contract. And in America, for example, 280,000 to 300,000 cases of turtle-associated human salmonellosis were occurring every year.
I hated it. I hated it. They caused me so much trouble. I mean, if I could have beaten the shit out of them, I would have done. I really hated these turtles.
Excuse us, coming through.
There he goes! Into the kitchen!
Pump up the volume, guys! We got him cornered! Give it up, Shredder! You're history!
We'll see about that, mutant.
I think to the detriment of the show, in my opinion, some of the animation was pretty flat in the later episodes.
Shred your way out of this!
Gladly, have a donut.
The fight scene basically became kind of slapstick. And, you know, I just lost it. You know, it was just so inane.
Anchovies.
To really bring the turtles back, I'd want to do them for no one but me. The turtles go and kick Keanu Reeves' butt in the Matrix or something. No.
Cowabunga! Cool, pizza for breakfast. Hey, wonder what's on TV.
Good morning to you. Welcome to Liverpool's Albert Dock.
Richard and Judy. Oh, I love Richard and Judy.
Right, okay, here we go. Okay, right.
I'm Richard Madeley, and this is my wife, Judy Finnegan. And this is my wife, Judy.
Hello.
Hello. My name's Richard Madeley, and this is my wife, Judy Finnegan.
Hello.
My name is Richard Madeley, and this is my wife, Judy Finnegan.
Hello.
Oh, it was awful.
Rock and roll.
I still can't believe I ever agreed to do that.
Say cheese, Judy.
Cheese.
Say cheese.
Cheese.
And...
You used to meet people and say, are they married? Are they going out together? They talk about what they were doing for dinner last night. Do you think they're dating?
I'll tell you what, I prefer olives with gin and tonic. They go too well with wine.
You think everything's better with a gin and tonic, don't you? It was supposed to be a Head and Shoulders, I think, or was it?
Well, I actually think it's a very nice picture. The checks were made, in public records offices just to check that we did have a marriage certificate.
Let me explain that this is my husband, him indoors, and we're here every morning with 90 minutes worth of live television.
I'm glad to know that I am a husband.
With the husband and wife team, you almost felt that each of them were on eggshells for the other one at the start because they didn't want the other one to screw up.
I can't do it.
Judy?
I think Richard wears the trousers. Everyone likes to think Judy does, but...
She wears the trousers. She's so great.
Hello, good morning. I'm Richard Madeley.
And I'm Judy Finnegan.
I think they take it in turn to wear the trousers and to wash the trousers and to iron the trousers. Look, Richard, look. You look really, really nice. It really
It's all right for you. You look
Makeup's lovely.
terrific, Judy. I look like something out of the Rocky Horror Show.
Don't! You look really lovely, honestly. You look really...
Oh, morning.
If it wasn't for Richard Madeley, I don't think we would have had Alan Partridge.
Ah, spooky. Oh, shut up. Morning, my little aubergines. Is it going to be me or not? Honestly, there are all 6s and 7s in our director's box. I think we should go. Excuse me, I'm letting the student out.
He did have a terrible knack for being completely daft.
Camera 6. You know what I mean? Now look at this. Right, I've got a bent nose. And I never realised I had a bent nose until I got on that one. All right, until I got onto telly. It's bent, isn't it? It's got a little kink in it.
He does tend to put his foot in it sometimes.
I don't think that made you a bit of a puff, you know. I do not know what you're clapping for. She was rubbish. What does your husband think about you not wearing makeup? Ultimately, it would be great if you could talk exactly the way you speak.
I think it'd be terrifying. You'd be taken off at every meeting.
I know. So what I'm saying is it's not completely natural. I mean, I tend to swear quite a lot. And you do too, but not as much as I do, Judith. I can promise you the next hour and a half will be absolutely full of goodies on this programme.
Charles Metcalfe demonstrates how to open a bottle of wine.
There's our 2 regular features, Woolstrand and...
Water babies.
We'll be meeting a 3-headed man, finding out...
How to deal with every gardener's nightmare, the dreaded bindweed. Does it work?
It does. Good heavens, like magic.
I think the worst item I was ever responsible for, and I still cringe to this day.
Here's Moira Bremner, right, with some special tips to make one of the most repetitive and time-consuming jobs, washing up, easier, more effective and a joy.
The best way to wash up is to do the way that old-fashioned Victorian housemaids used to do it. And since we haven't got housemaids, we'd rather have to do it ourselves nowadays, unfortunately.
It was the most excruciating 3 minutes of television I've ever been responsible for.
You need a whole lot of tools. You need a scourer like this. You need a washing up brush. I like one a bit bigger than that, in fact.
Very basic. I mean, thinking back, very basic indeed.
This sort of modern knife, no worry. Drop it straight in.
It was like watching paint dry, and it was so patronising.
Look for anything which should have been soaked. Now, in this case, there's a filthy pan that's been used for scrambling egg.
She's wonderful, isn't she? I can't tell you how many burnt pans I've thrown out. I don't think I could be bothered with all that.
With live TV, things are going to go wrong. The trick is to cover it up.
Sometimes life can make you crazy. It can really put your body.
These are Eddie the Eagle's glasses. The reason I'm holding them is because, as I promised you, he was going to make a spectacular entrance on this morning. Oh, he's arrived.
We're on. It's all pandemonium. Can you come back and give him another trip round, you think? Yeah?
Do you play with your husband or what?
Is it false?
Give me filling, Susan.
How many snops? Snaps.
And could have a problem here.
Put together one or two little things. I didn't know what my... All over the ingredients. Come here.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Richard and Judy were there for me when my mum and dad weren't.
I wanted, and actually still want, Richard and Judy to be my mum and dad.
And I'd just like to take this opportunity to say thank you to them.
Gene Pitney, who obviously makes a habit of freezing for his art, singing for you his latest hit. You're the reason. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All day long, in my thoughts you're beside me. Close my eyes, in my thoughts you're beside me.
Man, that is fast. But one radical lady from the Summer Olympics of '88 showed us the true meaning of speed. It's Flo-Jo.
Let me take you to a place I know you wanna go. It's a good life. Hey, yeah. I don't wanna stand around and beg you. Just don't say no. No, 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 no. I have got a feeling that you're gonna like it.
Everybody can remember Flo-Jo. Everybody.
She's the fastest woman ever.
A real-life Wonder Woman.
In '88, she was a talk of the Olympics, really. Not only, you know, for her performances, but, you know, the fact that she was such a, you know, stunning, you know, lady.
She knew that the Olympics in '88 were her opportunity to get noticed. With her gorgeous hair and her long nails and her brightly coloured one-legged suit, you think, hey, you can sweat and be glamorous too. That's a first.
She looked so great. She had these costumes. She looked like someone who'd stepped straight out of the beauty parlour.
One of the outfits that is still known for now is the one-legged outfit. And that happened by accident because she was working on the outfit and then she cut one leg and she said, oh, this looks nice. So she came downstairs and showed me and I started laughing. Then she said, okay, it's a hit. I'm keeping it now.
How on earth do you get them like that?
Well, actually, they used to be a lot longer. In '86, I cut them off. They were 6.5 inches long. But this has been a part of me for a long time.
So how long does it take to actually do that?
About 3.5 minutes per nail.
She had long nails, and everyone used to wonder, I don't know, did she do any housework? At
the start of the race, out there, the camera pans along the line of the sprinters, and they're all putting their hands behind the line, and you just saw these hands and the nails nearly going over the line. They were so long and all painted, I don't know, with stars and stripes or whatever.
Griffiths Joyner got a tremendous start.
Just remember these like big nails and you're kind of going, well, if I was racing with someone like that, to be honest, I'd let her win. I don't know how much of that is down to athletic prowess or whether it's just like, I see you going past me, I'll scratch you in the eyes out.
Look at the gap. That's the world champion chasing her. Griffiths Joyner turns on the afterburner and away she goes. Griffiths Joyner wins 21.56 and the world record has been smashed without any bother at all.
Flo-Jo burned up like the whole track to reach the finals of both the 100 and 200 meters. Now, she prepared for the two biggest days of her life.
Hotel room would smell like fingernail polish, but each night it was almost like a meditation, a ceremony that she went through, that she had to get ready. She'd put out her outfit, she'd put a number on her uniform, and then she'll get ready. She'll say a prayer, and then she'll go to bed and be ready for the next day with her nails hanging up, making sure I had to blow them dry to make sure that they wouldn't get messed up or anything.
Well, after yesterday's epic men's 100-metre final, today it was the women's version, with all the interest centred on Flo-Jo.
Well, what a lineup it is. Florence Griffith-Joyner, who turns this event into pure theatre.
There was a real sense of this was something worth watching.
The 4 fastest times ever in history stand to this woman.
Griffith-Joyner, USA.
I knew she was going to win when she smiled before she got into the blocks.
6'9".
She was just out the blocks, upright, gone.
Griffith-Joyner had a marvellous start. Schnikova is getting after her.
She made everyone look like they were on slow motion and she was on fast forward.
Then, after 60 metres, Florence moved ahead.
It's this part of the race she moves away.
And then all of a sudden this big smile came up. I was upset that she smiled, but I could realize that this was about to be her first Olympic medal.
And she's flowing beautifully. Venichikova's got out of it. Look at the time. 10.5 for the second fastest ever. A new Olympic record.
Whoa. Hold on a minute. Is this the ladies 100 here? Or is this the men's? What is this?
It looks so easy.
It felt so easy. That's what I do at practice. Trying to be relaxing, making it look effortless. Thankful to God it came out like that.
Al, you were watching. Disappointment for you in missing the Olympics, but obviously great enjoyment watching your wife.
I don't have nothing to say. I'm just so happy because she did it. She came here. It started November the 1st. 1 down, 2 more to go. So now we're going to be happy. 200 meters was really great because this was Florence's favorite race.
With 1 gold medal won, Flo-Jo went for the double.
I told her, I said, forget about trying to break a world record here in the Seoul Olympic Games. The key is to get a gold medal.
The final of the women's 200 meters.
She just tore everybody apart. She was so far ahead with this strange kind of upright motion that she was doing.
But Griffith-Joyner hits the front in the straight and goes right away again.
I think it was almost like she was running on air. It was like her feet weren't touching the ground.
She's got to win by an enormous distance. Griffith-Joyner wins.
And believe it or not, she ran 21:34.
And a new world record yet again. 21.33, and she's not just breaking the world record, she's taking it apart.
Yes, okay, training methods, yes, okay, diet have all improved, but there was a whiff of suspicion about Flo-Jo, even back then.
But really, she looks and gets better and better and better.
Even at the time at my grandma's house, all my uncles were like, she's doing drugs, man. It's got to be drugs, man, to run that fast. And I said, no, she's not. She's just, you're jealous because she's a woman and she can run faster than you.
How fast can you go?
I don't know. There's no limit.
Flo-Jo? Dude, she won 3 gold medals. The highlight of her tragically short life.
Florence Griffith-Joyner, the Olympic sprinter, has died at the age of 38 from a heart attack. She was known as Flo-Jo and won 4 medals at the Seoul Games in 1988.
Florence Griffith-Joyner died in Los Angeles after a reported heart attack, her second seizure in 2 years. She remained an inspiration to women athletes, running herself into the record books with colour, speed and style.
She transcended the sport because she was not just brilliant, she was beautiful, and I think sometimes you need that little bit extra. And she made track and field really, really glamorous.
She's the fastest woman ever. You know, that's the way she'll always be remembered.
Oh, pub quiz. Now you've got me on a subject. I lived off pub quiz machines for about 2 years.
The first £10 quiz machine, the Give Us a Break, was loosely modelled on Dave Lee Travis's Give Us a Break, which was loosely modelled on the game of snooker.
Give Us a Break, when it was first made into a machine,
was the most successful game ever. Basically, you would go for a red ball question, which was fairly easy.
Like, Ireland is situated, you know, where...
Then you would make your choice of colour.
The pink question is something to do with, you know, current affairs on the island of Maldives. You're there in a pub with, you know, a lot of mates who shirked education and got out of school as soon as they could, were then queuing up to put 10 bob in a machine to ask them questions that they had no chance in the world of answering.
What's the capital of Paris, Stan?
Never went into the pubs when they were playing that game, because obviously they'd be out to get me, wouldn't they? I've lost some money through you.
But there's one lad who always kind of doesn't know the answer, but says it so convincingly. It's C. It's C. I'm telling you, it's C.
Danger Mouse, that one. B. Oh, that was yesterday. Oh, sorry, put no pound in.
You know, at the end of it, it became this real challenge thing of, no, we've got to beat this.
So you time it just right, and you go on a Monday morning or Sunday afternoon when it's had 48 hours of absolute no-necked beer monsters putting all their wages in these things.
Then somebody'd have these, you know, really soft ideas of, you know what we should do? Go around and play loads of them and learn all the questions.
Typically on our machine, we have 10,000 questions and 30,000 answers.
The amount of time it would take you to learn the amount of questions stored in that, you could get a job.
You have to memorise, in fact, all this lot to do it from memory.
It's a challenging idea, you know what I mean? But we could earn 10 times as much.
Then we'd just come along and our smart grammar school boy and clean up, and we would take 30 or 40 quid at a time. And they got wise to us, and it all became like £1 million question on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
It's weird. You should have come in.
Any turtle will tell you the underground is the place to be. But the Summer of Love craze in 1988 brought a new kind of music blinking out into the light. A seed!
1988 was the year when clubbing totally changed.
It was underground and it was forbidden and it was naughty.
Everything changed overnight. The whole place just went absolutely berserk. It was unbelievable.
You were now. We were back on it.
The great thing about 1988 was it kind of wiped your memory of the rest of the 80s before.
I can't really remember it, but it must have been good.
Do you think it's anything to do with a certain religion, do you think?
No,
is it anything
is it?
like that?
No, it's more to do with a kind of a drug, isn't it?
Drugs? Ecstasy.
You had all your football hooligans, all your hard men, all suddenly softening, you know what I mean, and wanting to cuddle people.
If you stepped on someone's toe up to that time, it could kick off in a fight. So now it was a different vibe, and you know, people were coming up asking, you know, are you all right? And do you want a drink? And it was amazing.
Music just sounded so good, and dancing just made you feel lazy. Just flew to places, you know what I mean?
White guys can't dance. That was the thing, you know, white people can't dance, black people are the dancers. And I think, you know, personally, that would have closed the dance, because it didn't make no difference what you were doing. We all danced the same.
You did not move your feet. And if you don't move your feet at all, it means that so much of the movement, so much of everything is transferred to the shoulders.
You'd have like a line of people at the front of the stage, and they're all like just like that.
All you really had to do was this. It was quite a rhythmic sort of vibe, and your hands would swing around. I see.
I've got a great big fridge and a microwave.
People kind of got fed up with the arms and stopped waving their arms about. They just kept them up. Well, why do this when we can just keep them up? It's easier. And it's like, whoa.
Maybe it was reaching out for the inspiration that the arms were so up all the time.
Yeah, there was no real dance moves at all. No one was capable.
Sometimes it felt like you were in a pulpit and you were just giving your sermon to your congregation, which, you know, all that religious imagery is bizarre, but to some people it kind of was like a religious experience.
Most of the time my parents don't really know that I'm going to an illegal warehouse party. I'd just say it's a warehouse party and they don't ask me whether it's illegal or not because they don't really know about those sort of things.
Saturday night in South London. Hundreds of young people are gathering for the latest craze, an acid house party in a disused warehouse.
Gotta have house music all night long. With that house music.
It was considered to be incredibly anti-establishment at the time, and the police kept turning up to try and stop people playing this music.
There was about 2,000 people, and we raved there for about 2-3 hours till the police came along. But they're looking, they're thinking, what is going on here? They were like, it's not going off in fighting, everyone's happy, everyone's just raving, we should let it go on, but we know we can't.
I remember this kind of chase across Clapham Common where these people were in their van kind of dodging into people, and the police were kind of, you know, both running with their truncheons up and in their own little cars kind of going across Clapham Common. It was hilarious, like.
London nightclub and its acid night. 500 young people packed on the dance floor.
That's when the cameras, or the World in Action, wasn't it? I think it was the World in Action programme. First got there looking, and Silly here was on the stage in his usual pose with torches and a pink caftan and ponytail on the head and all that, enjoying the festivities. And I was caught red-handed, or red-eyed, let's say.
If you thought it was a drug, now you know you're wrong. You hear it in Future, Zoom and Spectrum.
I mean, Acid House is an example of kind of the media not allowing a youth culture to ferment and develop and allow itself to go off in a different directions it needs to become something really important.
Laws were passed to stop this. It was a big revolution, you know. It was just that idea. People in authority don't like lots and lots of people gathering together in one place, whether it's just to dance or whether it's to have a political meeting or whatever.
1977 was punk, and 1988 was the Summer of Love.
That summer really changed people's lives. People still come up to me now and harp on about the experiences they had.
I can say to my grandchildren, they had the 60s, but we had our 80s explosion, the Summer of Love, and it was bigger and better than the 60s because it's still happening a decade later, you know what I mean?
200 years after you guys sent all the prisoners down under, they came back to haunt you.
Do we have to go through all this rubbish? It's the law.
It was good, wasn't it? It was good rubbish.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it?
It was electrifyingly bad. And they had lesbies in it as well, which was really amazing. But you'd expect lesbies in a lesbian prison. Oh, in a women's prison. I hasten to add, because not all of them were lesbies.
You can really enjoy yourself if you put your mind to it. Not like that, Frankie. You're going to have to be, and anything you don't know, I'll teach you. Get your hand off! Don't say anything you might regret, Karen. We're going to be in here night after night for years and years and years.
What was good about it was it wasn't sexy. I thought that was quite nice. It wasn't sort of like, hello, officer. It was like, get out of my cell, you bitch. Oops.
The fighting, fabulous, just like being back at school. Chick fights every night, people ripping each other's tights off. Where else do you get to see it?
My favourite names that we came up with for the show were Sluts and the Slammer. But my really favourite one was 6 Lesbians in Search of a Plot.
Don't hate me. I saw Fletcher at reception, and by the look of him, he doesn't know what's happening.
And they'd always be in the laundry. They had very clean sheets in prisoner cell block H.
I didn't think we'd see see Chrissy back in here again, not with the baby and everything. Do you reckon she's been back on the game?
How the bloody hell should I know?
Whoever is in charge of the steam press is in charge of the women. Unwritten rule.
Now rub your hand over it, make sure you haven't got any wrinkles.
I remember B.
B was the big ginger-haired one who had a face like a bulldog chewing a wasp.
Bitch!
A face like a smack bum. Or did she have a bum like a smack face? I can't remember, one of the two.
Oh, no. Oh, no. You've got to mean it.
She was top dog. It was all about who was top dog in the prison.
I have been queen bee here too long to step down for a cow like that, Frankie. Being top dog was, meant you were responsible for the rest of the prisoners. We're not animals, we're human beings. You spend enough time in this rat trap, though, and you start forgetting it. So basically, B. Smith was a murderess with a heart of gold.
Ultimately, the B. Smith's enemy had to be, her arch enemy had to be the freak.
Get over against that wall.
Black leather gloves. And you just knew that that involved trouble for somebody. Whenever it happened, it was like a coda that, you know, basically somebody was going to get it.
The constant threat of where that black leather hand might end up was fairly terrifying. Now, you don't turn around and face me, or haven't you got the guts? Oh, I thought I'd let you hit me from behind. It's more your style, isn't it?
B. Smith, 3 times murderer, the freak who's supposed to be a figure of authority. And they are going for it. They are smacking their heads on the floor.
It was a real good old deck here and banging this person's head on the wall and nose. Not that I'm a violent person.
Ross and Tracy run the pun-in-cheek prisoner fan club. The 2,500 members are addicted to their newsletter.
One of the sort of things that got us into it was the fact that there was no press coverage at all on Prisoner. Yet we knew it was, you know, an incredibly popular programme, so we sort of went into that gap, you know.
And then we went to the local government office and said, we've got this idea for a business. We want to import Australian soap stores and take them around the country. And they said, fair enough, here's your £40 a week. And we said, thank you very much, Mrs Thatcher. We approached Val Lehman and said, being as you're not working, would you like to come over and work for us? And she, strangely enough, and to this day I still don't know why, she said yes.
What are you doing here? I've been brought over to
Well,
meet
I
your
was
fans.
put over by the fan club.
I saw Val Lehman appearing as B. Smith in a nightclub, which I found bizarre because it was somebody coming from the small screen into my own life, but she must have found absolutely mind-boggling. She was being swamped by people.
Every appearance you'd turn out, there'd be 2,000, 3,000 people, everybody wanting autographs. She was treated like a queen by the fans. We called it B-Mania.
She even got presented to the mayor of Derby and stuff like that. It was complete civic glory.
And the song was lovely. The song to the programme. On the outside, the sun still shines. And the rain falls down. But the sun and rain...
And it's almost like, you know, where's your lighter? La 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 la.
The song did not go at all with the image of the show.
And things were different then. Oh, it was lovely. Great show.
Well, no prizes for what the most welcome sight on the terraces has been this season.
2,500 of these are going to be buzzing into Anfield this afternoon. This is the Brentford B. You can get something for everything now, really. It was all started by Man City with a banana. You even have a parrot, sick as a parrot.
The craze started here with a player called Imre Varadi. Supporters started calling him Imre Banana.
I don't think anyone knows my surname.
Some wag in the crowd one day called him Imre Banana, and somebody just brought a banana in and it's just spread from there, as far as I remember.
And here comes Imre Varadi.
Imre banana.
Imre banana.
Do 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 do.
Imre banana. Hey.
Berardi trying to take on Gillespie, and it's David White coming in. Agonisingly close.
It was a fantastic feeling. I think I was about 27 and I was sort of round about my peak as a footballer, and just to jog out and see 30,000 supporters, fans, waving these bananas and different objects.
That is a sign of a team kind of in desperation in a club, isn't it, when to detract from the football, inflatable fruit.
And very quickly it was copied across the country.
But it's not just bananas. As well as oranges, we spotted several crocodiles and other assorted creatures.
Grimsby fans started having giant inflatable cod, because they are known as the trawler men.
We've got blow-up skeletons, we've got blow-up dinosaurs, gorillas, anything that'll bring a little bit of fun back to the game, you know.
But sadly, the blow-up toys aren't universally welcome. Because they might obstruct the view of some spectators, Arsenal, not recently noted for their frolicsome contribution to football jollity, want to ban them from the ground. Though the thought of an obscured view of Arsenal players may be one of the happier thoughts of the week.
If you were stuck behind someone with a giant inflatable tree, or stuck behind someone with a huge hammer who insisted on hitting you over the head with it, it became very, very annoying.
Bananas are big in English football, and they don't come any bigger than this one.
Brian Clough could even swallow that one.
At Brighton, there was a big thing of taking celery into grounds.
In North London, fans face the prospect of actually being frisked for inflatables, even though they're the most inoffensive of weapons. And elsewhere, it seems, the jokers of the terraces are determined to keep flaunting their fruit.
The police would actually ban people from taking celery into the ground because they said it could incite violence.
Towards the late 80s, I think just the fun just came back into football. I think someone wanted just to do something, and it just swept throughout the country.
It couldn't be better than that one, could it?
OK, everybody, cameras rolling. 3, 2, 1, cue Roger.
Hello, good evening, and bollocks.
Cut!
It was radical, and it was, like, way rude. In '88, Viz was the hot magazine.
Viz was groundbreaking, and it did appeal to our kind of base humour.
And also a style of humour that you just hadn't seen anywhere before, you know.
What a hummer! For me, it was worse than a mucky buck.
Oh, Pet, if you're selling them puppies, I'll have the one with the pink nose.
I think Viz are smart enough to put like a swear within all the little bubbles, weren't they? The sort of thing you do when you're 9 years old.
Viz is pretty much that schoolboy humour. I mean, we're very proud of the fact that we've never had to grow up.
Billy Big Balls.
Buster Gonad.
Buster Gonad, that's it.
And his unfeasibly large testicles, which he carried around in a wheelbarrow.
Massive. Kind of humongous.
The drawing was just disgusting.
He had his own personal space opera. He's a lucky man.
Oh no! My testicles are so large, I've suddenly become afraid of heights. Hiya, I'm Billy Thompson. Any chance of a game? OK, Billy, you can go and go.
I mean, the whole concept of a character that was half fish, half goalkeeper was complete genius. A copy landed on my desk. I think it was one of those magical moments, like the first time you saw Monty Python or something. I just thought, I want it.
And I actually had, I think, the first edition at one time, which now is probably worth a fortune. But of course, just threw it away at the time because it was just some crappy little comic done by students.
Viz started back in '79 originally. Sales went very well around local pubs and so on. It was just a little cottage industry thing we did ourselves.
It seemed like almost like a fanzine. You know, at first you couldn't get it, and then you could get it more and more, and then it was in W.H. Smith's, you know, it just sort of got so popular.
And then it really exploded in 88, 89.
At which point we'd overtaken Punch and Private Eye and the New Musical Express all in one go.
Well, I remember when we overtook Woman's Own and became the 3rd best-selling magazine in England. A moment of great pride, that was.
Girl, you know it's
We said, right, we need to create a new character.
Give us an hour with me, Zip.
Why don't we do something based on these girls who hang around the big market in Newcastle?
I'm a treble vodka and tonic with Mirage and Taboo in it. She's Malibu and Pineapple with cider and black.
So, what was he like then? Any good? I don't know. I would so best.
I thought, oh Christ, we're going to get in trouble here, but this is brilliant.
If you let us off with fair, you can feel her tits.
Tell you what, how about quick tongue wrestling instead?
No, the Fat Slags were very popular, probably when the comic was at its peak, but I tended to prefer the Roger Melly was a favourite of mine. Johnny Fartpants in his prime.
Fart. Johnny Fartpants.
No matter how sophisticated and clever people are, you just know that when they're like away from like their posh mates, they'll laugh at farting jokes.
Boy, oh boy, I'm having big toilet difficulties today.
I didn't envisage myself being one of Britain's sort of leading toilet humour cartoonists.
I used to get quite annoyed by it at first because it wasn't all toilets and farting, and then people would point out it is substantially toilets and farting.
Can you drive, pet? Well, back onto this.
Sid the Sexist sort of goes down equally well with sexists.
Well, lads, check with the bops or not, wench.
And with sort of intellectuals who see the irony of it and everything.
What a put their headlights on.
What a shirtful. I'm sure loads of people ended up using his chat-up lines in bars, didn't they, thinking, if Sid the Sexton can get away with it, so can I.
Who pet? My name's Sid. Tell us, do you swallow it or spit it out? I beg your pardon?
Listen.
Oh, piss off, will ya?
It's just the product of a crazed mind.
Hey, look at this. This one's got a little penis here. Good grief. Look at it. Can you see that on camera?
Cut! Okay, the biggest smackdown of 1988 was between Tiffany and Debbie Gibson for the title Queen of Pop.
Shake your love. I just can't shake your love. If you think Britney and Christina Aguilera have got a few going on now, Debbie Gibson and Tiffany were the 80s answer. I just can't shake. Forget Britney, do you know what I mean? It was all about Debbie Gibson and Tiffany.
Who's the best, Debbie Gibson or Tiffany? I would have liked to see them fight in a sort of 80s way with lots of lace and fingerless leather gloves.
God, that's pretty wild. That's like a lot of people's wildest dream.
16-year-old Tiffany was the first to make it big in Britain.
Children behave. That's what they say when we're together. And watch how you play.
I used to really like Tiffany, actually. Oh, God, what was that song? It was, And we're running just as fast as we can. Trying to get away into the night, and then you put your arms around me and I stumble to the ground, and then you say,
I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now, feeling on the other side. All right.
Tiffany was, and this is no offence to Tiffany, it's an offensive term, but she was a mall rat, wasn't she? She was what the Americans call a mall rat. She was the kind of kid, valley girl kid you'd see hanging around going, oh my God, at the shopping mall.
I love Tiffany. She became successful because she sang in shopping centres. Brilliant.
I can't imagine doing that in Bolton Arndale Centre.
It seems such a cheap thing to do, doesn't it? So naff.
The
The Bullring shopping centre had never seen anything quite like it. Police and security officers were taken by surprise when more than 4,000 fans crowded in to see Tiffany, the 16-year-old star whose first single went to the top of the American charts, beating Madonna, Michael Jackson and Bruce Springsteen for the #1 slot.
It's really good publicity, because that encouraged people to buy records and everything. It's just really good. It's a good thing to do.
I was really excited, and I think it went really well, and the fans were really nice. I enjoyed it.
What a way to start your career with 2 #1 singles in America.
And now she's gone #1 here. She is the lady who makes Madonna look like your granny. Tiffany!
I think we're alone. You and me.
There was this bit in the middle, and she had this dance where and the foot would go out and the hand would come across, and all the girls were doing the Tiffany dance.
She's doing all that big.
No, I don't remember that.
I don't remember that, but I do remember her going on top of the pops in some huge jumper. I just remember, I can't remember, was it mohair or something? It's just some enormous jumper that she was wearing, and I just thought, she must be so hot.
But if Tiffany was the mall queen, whoa, Debbie Gibson looked like the prom queen.
Debbie Gibson was kind of your sweet girl next door. She was the original Britney without all the sexy outfits.
If you compare the Britney Spears of today and the Debbie Gibson of '88, you have 2 totally different people. You don't have a sexy young thing. You have a girl who was truly a teenager.
A stylist's dream to take a little girl and make them look like jailbait. Unlike the teenagers of today, I did not have a body, I did not have a waistline to show off. She would write 8, 10, 12 songs every day. One night I woke up in the middle of the night and I found Deborah out of her bed and I didn't see her in the room. And I get up and I look around and where is she but in the bathroom, sitting in the tub with her comforter, her blanket in the tub. So she made herself a nice little comfy spot with a candle burning and she was writing music. She was writing songs. I think I'm pretty sick of hearing obscene references to Shake Your Love because I wrote it as, you know, I can't shake my love for you. I can't get rid of this feeling. Shake your love. I just can't shake your love. Shake your love. I just can't shake your love. Shake your love. I just can't shake your love. Shake your love. I just can't shake your love. All through my teenage years and to date, radio personalities are always saying, you know, yeah, I was shaking my love to one of your songs the other day, and oh, please, like I haven't heard that one before.
Hello, I am
Laura.
And she is
Debbie Gibson.
And we are here to talk about your career.
In 1988, I became the youngest artist in music history to write, perform, and produce a #1 hit, which that record hasn't been broken to date, which amazes me because I'm waiting for one of these like Hanson kids to come along or something, you know.
Oh, good. There we go.
I now meet 17 and 18-year-old girls and think, I cannot believe, you know, the chutzpah I had at that age. I mean, I look at them and I think that's insane that I was calling the shots at that age.
Debbie and Tiffany burnt real bright for a year. I'm talking about 4 U.S. #1s and 5 top 10 hits in the UK. But if they had a problem with each other, they weren't saying.
We got burnt out on each other with people expecting there to be something, you know, between the two of us. And I was always being asked questions about her and, you know, kind of answering not only for myself, but her.
All the rivalries that press kind of created were just that. They were fabricated rivalries. In fact, Tiffany's in the speed dial on my cell phone. It's like a lot of people's wildest dream is to be on a concert stage and to have people emulating you and singing words that you wrote, melodies that you wrote, and, you know, I can kind of say forever and ever, I have that. That happened for me.
In 1988, some radical Japanese guys got down and got with it. Not ninjas or even turtles, but the packed and gnarly dudes of Sumo.
In the big wide world of sport, nothing is bigger or wider than sumo wrestling.
Sumo. Goodness.
I don't want your money, honey, I want your love.
Well, I think there's a lot of misconceptions about sumo.
It was more an examination into the possibilities of being obese.
It honestly made life so hard for me and people like me. Walking down the streets of the crowds of Sumo! Sumo!
The first programmes were on at 10:30 at night, and we knew people would be laughing at it. They'd be switching on to have a laugh. The fact that people were interested was a shock.
For most non-Japanese, the main attraction of sumo lies in its freak show quality and those less than discreet loincloths.
I remember pulling up your underpants, you know, like sumo, up crack of your bum.
It had all this tradition. It's so embedded in the culture, and we're just going, some fat blokes, and that must be killing these knackers, you know, when they're lifting them off the floor with them little undies.
No one really understood it, but everyone did it. You know, it's like, let's chuck some salt down and let's have a wrestle.
They get into the ring and they sort of face each other and sort of try and push each other out, basically, or trip each other up, so that once one's out of the ring, that's it, they've won. So it's very easy to understand.
That was close, but Gyoji doesn't hesitate to give Takahanada the win. I think that I was asked to kind of commentate on it, possibly because I think people like Desnam Lynam and all the others had difficulty with the pronunciations. So I had to sort of Komiyashi bring into a D, Hashai, Haranga, Harai, Goshi, into a Ushimata, Seki, Waki, and you have to do it at speed.
They talk about all these different moves. It seemed to me there were two moves. One was trippy-uppy and one was pushy-outy. They were the two moves, really, and that's all you had to do.
As far as I could see, you might as well just toss a coin.
Here you go, way too fast. Don't slow down, you're gonna crash.
I get sick of people talking rubbish to me about Muhammad Ali or Rocky Marciano or Joe Louis or Lennox Lewis and so forth. These are great boxers. They would not have lasted 5 seconds with Chonafuji. Once you put an arm out, once you put a finger out, he would have it. He would have you. You wouldn't see.
But they just look like these big, giant babies. They were really strong, but really vulnerable as well, except for Dump Truck, who wasn't, in it by any definition, vulnerable.
He carries more weight than any wrestler in sumo history. 576 pounds of fighting flab.
Dr. Evil be Kunishiki, the dump truck.
Why do they call him that? Don't even think about it.
You know, 400-pound Hawaiian, you know, the kind of foreigner that everyone loved to hate.
It really seemed fair when he came in, because all the others were big, but they were, you know, about the same. And then suddenly Dump Truck comes in and just, you know, he's like a planet.
Really, if he clamped his arms around you, he would just walk you out. He would just literally escort you out. That was his big thing.
Japan's reputation for closing its doors to British products has taken a dent. Our latest export to elude the strict trade embargoes weighs 18 stone, has a brown belt in judo and a passion for Japanese feudal history.
The Nathan Strange business
thespians.
I just literally woke up one morning and thought I'd like to become a sumo wrestler. My Japanese name was Hide no Kuni Hajime, which actually means a first from the excellent country.
Well, I just wanted to be part of the system, like the feudal system, and as you know, it's not a violent sport.
There was one time I had to go to the hospital. I had something like 76 or 77 different cuts and grazes.
And I think he went out there and got a right kicking.
After a couple of months, I come to the conclusion that I wasn't really cut out for sumo, for a number of reasons. The language, the culture, and I didn't like getting beaten up every morning.
Grandpa, stops your mouth fearing like a... Bodacious? Excellent. Hey, do Bill and Ted think they're turtles or what?
Gentlemen, we're history.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was a great film.
It's great because it absolutely is true. It was an excellent adventure.
We're in the middle of a war, dude!
This is absolutely fantastic.
I need 2 men. We're with you, Billy the Kid.
Whoa.
Bodacious.
That was most excellent.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude.
It really captured this weird sort of idiot surf culture, and it's a really funny film.
I'm Bill S. Preston, Esquire, and I'm Ted Theodore Logan. Yeah!
You're probably wondering how we got to be such big celebrities and be on magazine covers. Well, we got our own movie, dudes.
First position, please.
Bill and Ted has an entirely stupid story.
In the future, Bill and Ted, or it turns out, are the greatest people who ever have lived.
They didn't know this, obviously.
That future is in jeopardy because there's a point in time in the past where Bill and Ted may fail their history test.
Ted was going to be sent to military school or something.
So in the future, they send somebody back with a time-traveling telephone booth to allow Bill and Ted to go back in time, to gather a bunch of historical figures, to bring them back to their high school so that they can pass their history test.
It's literally that simple.
It's a very important film.
Excuse me, when did the Mongols rule China?
I don't know, I just work here.
They're both incredibly stupid.
You want to try the Thrifty Mart?
Sure. But Bill thinks he's smart, and Ted is sort of okay with the fact that he's stupid.
Not bad.
Greetings, my excellent friends.
Do you know when the Mongols ruled China?
Wow. Perhaps we could ask them.
We were at a McDonald's, and there were a couple of kids in line ahead of us just goofing around. And we said to each other that those guys would be perfect, Bill and Ted. And it turned out that was Keanu and Alex, actually.
When the writers were out one day, they saw us together just behaving exactly as Bill and Ted behaved, meaning, you know, Keanu was being the sensible, the sort of innocent goof, and I was being the know-it-all who was just as stupid as his friend.
Bill, what? Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
You know, the joke was that they were basically identical. They had, you know, like one brain split in 2 bodies.
If you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of? 69, dudes! They're just so alike. I mean, they're basically the same guy. I mean, they're just so connected. It's just different parts of the guy. I mean, it's not quite yin-yang, but they certainly complement.
Did we introduce air guitar to the world?
I don't know. If so, yes.
It's a solo version of a high five. You don't need anybody else on the other end.
Excellent!
Everyone walks around saying, excellent! Every time he said excellent, he said it in excellent accents. Excellent, dude.
Excellent!
I think, you know, we quadruple-handedly aided in the dismantling of the English language.
Oh, you beautiful babes from England, for whom we have traveled through time. Will you go to the prom with us in San Dimas? We will have a most triumphant time.
It was an element of their characters that was just very, very positive by nature. You know, they like to embrace language, you know, to the most of their slim abilities.
How's it going, Royal Ugly Dudes?
I used to get death threats from English teachers, which made me feel very, very proud. I always thought in English class, if there was only some way I could get back at these people, and God knows how I'll ever get back to them. What am I going to do? Come back to my small town and berate them. But I did find a way to get back at my English teacher.
We are in danger of flunking most heinously tomorrow, Ted.
Hi, Bill. Want a ride?
Bill's stepmother, Missy.
Sure, Missy. I mean, Mom.
Missy insisted that Bill call her Mom.
Missy.
Hi. Brought you guys some food.
There's a whole routine going on with Missy, who's this sort of hot mama stepmother who's probably only about 6 months older than I am.
It's your mom, dude.
Missy was a very fun part to play because I didn't have a lot of responsibility in the film. I could just come on and have fun and giggle a little bit.
Good. Good. When we used to watch them, like, Missy came on and it was like, everyone would be thinking, whoa, she's fit.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Missy. I mean, Mom.
Sometimes it takes a very simple film like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure to state something so plainly that we should all know, that we don't. But when it's stated that plainly, we connect to it immediately, and it becomes a warm part of our lives.
Be excellent to each other.
As corny as and schmaltzy as this sounds, I would hope that there's a piece of Bill and Ted in everybody, you know, because they're pretty
nice guys.
Whimsical guys.
Whimsical, yes.
Whimsical guys.
I think that's what a film should do. It should speak universally, and Bill and Ted said be excellent to each other. That's something to remember for always and ever.
We traveled through time. I mean, we met lots of great leaders, and we got an A+ in our history report. And look at us. Nothing's different.
The film was made by very genuine, innocent, sincere people, and that carries across. Just a very positive, happy, genuine movie in a very cynical time.
Bill, my friend. Yes, Ted, my friend.
This has been a most excellent adventure. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
They do get better.
Car accessories.
Bought by people like
either 18-year-old virgins,
builders,
wide boys,
pickers,
or the kind of 55-year-old man who thinks he's got a really terrific sense of humour.
In 1988, they were all selling very well, very successfully, and the more that could be seen, the more they sold.
Beware, people from the planet Boring. You can identify them, for they have a sign by which they may be known. They've all got Garfields.
No, I've got a Garfield. Where's shall I stick it?
I find it very cheering to see a nice, friendly pussy stuck by suction to the rear window of a Vauxhall Nova.
I was made up when people started breaking into cars and nicking them.
It was a test of manhood in a couple of cities where boys would break into cars, gather the dolls, give them to their girlfriends.
You've got a perfectly good car stereo there, and you're running off with a cuddly toy of a fat cat.
Oh, hey up, Garfield, we're off.
There was then the Mooning Man.
They were all offensive. Nobody ever sort of went, hello, I think you're great, let's drive safely. It was all sod off and look at my arse.
What else was there? There was hand thing, wasn't there?
We thought of the idea of a pair of fingers trapped in the boot lid.
Oh, look! It's a dead body in someone's boot. No, it's not. It's those fingers. See, Belfast is really the only place that you could have that argument.
Bullet holes. I mean, these days in London, it's not necessarily just the actual sticker, you know, it's like either a gang of crack dealers or the actual police will try and kill you while you're driving round.
We had one stage designer dirt, stick on raindrops.
And all of these things, you know, presumably intended to make your car a kind of sexy and hot place to be.
People sort of associate sex with cars, which I never have. I associate sex with sex and cars with driving.
Like to party, dude, but these Hitman and Her guys are just radical. Ha! Ha!
Are you ready, Warrington? I want a big cheer.
Oh, my night time's up.
It kicked. Everything kicked.
You were seeing a culture that was not seen on television, and we didn't fake it.
Hi, and welcome to the Hitman and Her. This is the Hitman.
And this is her.
Terrible, but compulsively terrible.
It was just one of those things that you used to put on the telly when you got in completely legless and just marvel at the stupidity of the thing, really.
Switch it on, look at it, oh, and off you go to bed.
It was mad. I can't believe it was on television.
Come on, Warrington, let's see everybody. Let's show the nation how to do it.
Hitman and Her was homegrown and started off in Warrington. From the first weeks of it going out, of this kind of getting in and being able to watch a nightclub that was local, just in case you knew, you know, one of your mates in the background putting V's up or something.
Hitman and Her, I think, originally came from Pete.
I came in one night after a curry in Little Willows and saw Elvis Costello going about Irish politics, and I thought, my God, 1 o'clock, what the bloody hell, you want to watch this for?
He had this idea to do a late-night music show, basically to gate crash a club and film for 2 hours. I think that was the rough idea that Pete came up with, so he could play all his music.
It is time for our fashion show. We have a lot of fashion here in the audience today, but these are the professionals.
Pete Waterman was kind of lurking around in the background, sort of like your embarrassing uncle who's turned up at a disco to come and pick you up, you know, and he's looking around for you amid all your friends.
Where is she? Where is she?
What?
People that don't know that Pete Waterman was the Pete Waterman used to think, you know, who's that old guy with that young girl? So I must have been about 20 at the time, and I don't know what Pete was, but he did. He looked like kind of my dad standing there next to me.
She was incredibly bubbly, incredibly sexy, and I was incredibly old and stupid.
How come Pete Waterman gets to go to nightclubs with Michaela Strachan when he's fat and bald and I'm young and nubile?
6 people will do for a freebie.
She was a goddess, like Suzanne Dando was. Oh, Suzanne Dando, Michaela Strachan and Sam Fox. The fantasies I used to have about them while I lay there in my bunk bed underneath my magic roundabout duvet.
Jimmy, what are you looking for in a perfect woman?
Blonde hair, orange dress, black hat, and blonde hair, yeah.
Well, we'll see what we can do. I can't see anyone, can you?
Oh, the typical crowd was shirts, you know, no tights.
Slimline tie.
Cropped jacket.
High heels.
White stilettos.
Gold jewellery.
Pimples.
Tits out.
Bouffant hair.
And 3 pints. It was people who dressed up to go out, not dressed down.
The dancing in Hitman and Her with that knees pointing in. You know how the cast of Friends dance in the opening credits? That horrible, really bad American white person type dancing.
Oh, he's good. Give it a bit so. Oh, hello, hello. Yay!
The thing that used to really entertain me about Hitman and Her was people would be dancing in the club and then realising the camera was on them.
You could always tell this because they'd be going like this, right? Hey, and then they all start really just dancing terribly, even worse than they were.
We had this one dancer called Wiggy. He got the name because he wore this white wig.
Oh, the wig.
His name was Clive, and he was on every week, and he was actually in charge of getting different dancers. I think in the early days he did it for love, he wasn't even paid.
Every bloke kind of hated him, and even the women were like, why? You know what I mean? You've the potential to be sexy. Why?
Simple, I was scared of my mother, I guess. Didn't want her to recognise me. Still don't, really. I wore what I call my S-suit. And my S-suit was basically just a kind of a G-string sort of thing with a wraparound. And the wig and so forth, it kept me warm. I was hot because I was running around like an idiot and enjoying every minute of it.
He'd go like that in his routines. The sweat from his wig would just get, and he'd be going like, just get that sweat out my arm.
I was sweating like a pig. What can one do?
I'd love to know what he's doing now, because he's probably, I imagine, still wearing the wig, working at some bureau de change now with that on. You know what I mean? And you're going, I don't know if I want to trust you with currency.
Right now, Michaela, it's time for one of our very favourite people back on the show.
He's brilliant, this bloke, isn't he?
He's from Wakefield. We saw him in Halifax, and what's his name?
Ghostbuster!
Yeah, here's Ghostbuster, and it's numero uno.
I think it's fair to say they were quite sad folk and a little bit desperate. That kind of hunger and desperation and, you know, I'll make a complete ass of myself for 30 seconds on late-night telly was quite fascinating to watch.
OK, it's time for Pass the Mic.
Right, time for Pass the Mic.
Time for Pass the Mic.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and everyone shout, pass the mic.
I was wandering along the river when 7 bad gals came out. Oh,
Everybody thought I was going to discover the next Jason Donovan singing, you know, at Chorley. It was never going to happen.
Go on, son, give it.
I could see that girl.
Oh, that's no good for me.
But I was lost like a slave that no man could free.
5, 4, 3, 2.
We had some really dire singers. We used to audition singers before, and obviously you'd either pick people that were really good or people that were really bad, because that makes great telly.
My little baby sister can do it with me.
Go on, kid.
It's easier than learning your ABC.
Fabulous.
So come on, do the locomotion with me.
Ooh, oh, good. Right.
Swing your hips down. Come on, baby. Jump up. Jump back.
Staggering.
Well, I think you got the bag.
We took the cameras in, we filmed it, and if you see footage from that, that was that culture uncut. You know, we showed it as it was.
Time now for Step Back in Time. It's Rod the Mod. And if you think I'm sexy.
The programme was great fun to make. I mean, if I could have chosen something to do in those years of my life, I couldn't have chosen a better programme than Hitman and Her.
She sits alone, waiting for suggestion.
Bog off.
You know, that's what all my friends were doing. And they were paying to go, and yet there I was at 22 years old being paid to go clubbing. It was fantastic.
Exactly what they're thinking. You want my body, and you think I'm sexy.
Well, that was 1988 when we Turtles ruled the whole universe. Turtle power! Turtle power!
Tell it to my heart. Tell me I'm the only one. Is this really love or just a game? Tell it to my heart. I can feel my body rock every time you call my name. Tell it to my heart. Tell it from the stars. Tell it to my heart.
Don't despair. Next week it's 1989.
Bump up the jam, bump it up, bump it up, yo, bump it, bump up the jam, bump it up, bump it up, yo, bump it, bump up the jam, bump it up, bump it up, yo, bump it, bump up the jam, bump it, bump it, bump it, bump it, yo.
Tiffany and S Express all make it onto the Isle of the HE CD, which is available now.